Alrighty y'all, for today's video we're going to be making these little pin cushions. Did this one first, didn't like the way it turned out, so I did a second one. I'm going to show you how I tweaked the pattern to improve it, and we're going to do that step by step. If you're interested in this fabric, this is Davinci the cat. It is my own creation, and you can get the fabric on Spoonflower, so I will link that in the description box below. So let's get started. Alrighty, so you're going to need some fabric, and you're going to need some scissors, something to mark with, and a ruler. I'm using a pencil, but if you want to use fabric markers or something like that, you can. So I'm going to turn this with right sides facing together, and I'm going to measure out how big I want my pin cushion to be. And I will say right away that I did not like the measurements of mine. It was a little too big. I did 5 1/4 for the first one, and that inch makes a whole difference in the end product. So for the second one I did 4 1/4, and I really like the way it turned out a lot better. It was the right size. It just feel like the first one was way too chunky, but you'll see me measuring here, and then what I'm going to do is cut it out. And I did lay this on the fold, so you'll see when I cut this out that I actually will cut that fold. You don't want to leave that in there. I just did it that way because I didn't want to waste fabric, and I feel like it's less wasteful to do it that way. So I'm going to cut that out, and then we will get to sewing. So I just wanted to show here, you'll see in the end screen that I actually turned the pattern around to give it a little bit of a different end result. If you have a matching up pattern, you probably want to do it that way so that you get to see more of the design on the fabric. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to sew a triangle. I'm going to sew 2 of the sides that are butted together. You don't want to sew like opposite ends. You're going to make a triangle basically with your sewing. And you see there I kind of hesitated. It's because I had the pressure of the presser foot too loose on my machine. Had to stop and adjust that, and I had to sew over that crooked line. So yeah. So now that we've got that done, you see there's that. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to take a couple of pins, and I'm going to mark where I want to leave an opening on one side so that I can turn it and stuff it. And I do recommend marking with these pins because that kind of keeps you in the right place. You got a big enough opening to turn it and to stuff it, and you want to do back stitching at beginning and end of each one of these lines that you're going to sew right here. Alright, so you see there we have it. We got enough of an opening to turn it and stuff it. Once we get this next step done, I'm going to clip those corners. I'm not clipping through my stitching, I'm just clipping to the stitching so that it will be nice and neat. Now we're going to take this open side and we're going to match up the seams, and what I like to do is turn those seam allowances the opposite way so it creates less bulk, and I'm just going to sew straight across there. So once you've got this done, you're going to see this is what it looks like wrong side out. Kind of looks a little funny, but I promise it's going to turn out right in the end. So now I'm going to turn it. I'm going to take my wooden dowel, and I'm going to make sure all of the corners are poked out really well. Nothing is wrinkled or not looking right. And once I've got all of that pooched out, and I'll be ready to stuff it. And I will say that I do like to stuff my pin cushions really nice and tight so that they maintain that buoyancy for as long as possible. If you watch my other videos, you see the cubed pin cushion that I made years ago. It's still nice and firm, and I've even washed it a couple of times, and it always keeps its firmness. So you want to make sure you stuff these really well, especially if you're going to gift them. You don't want them to start to lose their shape if they don't have enough stuffing in them, which could very well happen. So And in case you missed it at the beginning of the video, I did design this fabric and I had it made through Spoon Flower, which I love the fact that it is a North Carolina based company. I live in North Carolina and it was really nice to have that here. So if you want to get some of this fabric, I will have the link in the description box below. Also, links to other products used in this video will be in the description box below. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew this up, and for the first pincushion that I made, I actually just did an outside top stitch, nothing special to it, and I like that better than the second one. With the second one, you'll see in the end screen there, I actually tried to do a blind stitch, which I'm horrible at, and it looked absolutely terrible. It looked like the seams were pooching out. If you're good at a blind stitch, go ahead and do it that way. If not, you can do that top stitch. So, you know, that is it. I just top stitched it, made sure I tied it off, and there you have your little pin cushion. I hope y'all enjoyed this little tutorial. Be sure to come back for more. Peace, y'all. Bye bye.